Hey guys, it's Katie from heykatie.net, and today is day 4 of VEDA, which is vlogging every day in August, also known as Vlogust. Today I wanted to do a video about a very simple but effective art skill, and that is the skill of drawing water. This can be something that's really difficult to do, but it's actually a really simple technique. Today we're going to focus on water drops. So like if you see little droplets of water on a window or on a plant, these can be things that look incredible and you can think that they're really hard to draw or paint, but actually they're entirely simple. And once you know the technique, you can draw them yourselves in any shape, size, or color, and you're going to be amazed at how simple it actually is. Now, the thing to remember about these is that water droplets can be different shapes based on 1, the amount of water, 2, what surface they're sitting on, and 3, what kind of actual thing they're on. So basically, like if a water droplet is on a window, you're going to find that it's going to be more, the smaller it is, the rounder it's going to be, but as it gets bigger, because of gravity pulling down on it, it's going to be more teardrop shaped until the point where it actually falls and then it's no longer a droplet. If it's sitting on a flat surface like a desk, it's going to probably be more circular in shape and just get bigger and bigger in a circle, but you might actually find that it elongates slightly. You can have droplets that two come together and therefore they form an oval or an oblong shape. If it's sitting on a flower petal, it may actually be more oblong. If it's sitting on the edge of a leaf, leaves are kind of pointy and you often see water droplets sitting right on the point of the leaf, in which case you're going to find that it's kind of bigger in the back and higher, and it kind of comes down into a point. It takes on the shape of the leaf. The other thing you need to remember is color, and that is water has no color, so it's going to actually take on the color of whatever it's near. So if it's sitting on a green leaf, for example, you're probably going to see that the droplet itself is more green, but it might actually reflect some of the colors around it. So if it's sitting on a green leaf and surrounded by pink flowers, it's going to be mostly green, but it's going to have elements of pink in there. So these are things to consider when you're drawing and painting them. Today I'm going to show you how to draw it, first of all, and we're just going to use regular graphite pencil, and then I'm going to show you examples of painted versions, and this will be with watercolors and how to even use Prismacolor or regular color pencils to really define each droplet. Again, you can make these any shape, size, or color that you want, but once you know the basic technique, you can do this anywhere, anytime, and you're going to be amazed at how simple it actually is. So let's get started. All right, don't mind my naked women here. This is my sketchbook, and that was just the last sketches I did. So we're actually going to start, you can kind of see I was just playing around earlier, but the basic element of doing a water droplet is this. So you're going to want to, first of all, choose your shape. So we're going to start with just a regular circle, and it's really simple. You just draw a circle, and I'm actually using, this is Prismacolor water-soluble graphite in dark 8B. You can use lighter pencils and draw it out, or you can, if you're going to be using color, you may as well just start with the color you're going to use. But here's the technique of actually drawing a water droplet. And maybe I should do this a little bigger, but hopefully you can see this well. So I've drawn a circle, and what we're going to do is we're going to decide which way the light is coming from. So in this case, let's just put the light right here. That's our light source. So it's going to be shining on our water droplet here. Now, the funny thing about water droplets is they're kind of counterintuitive, because usually where light is shining, you're going to have, that's where light is, and it's going to be highlighted, and then the shadow is going to be on the other side. But with water droplets, the light is actually in the shadow. So the dark side is going to be on this side with little elements of highlighted light. So what you can do when you're drawing is actually map out a couple of little highlights where it's going to stay white, and then you kind of got to think about where you're going to be adding your shadows. And so I can hear my kids coming. Hang on. Come on. All right, sorry about that. So basically you're going to start out darker on the outside, leaving these couple little highlighted areas. And you can actually use an eraser and pull up some of the graphite to make your highlights. But if you add them in right at the beginning, it's a little bit easier. And you're just going to try and get this gradient of shadow lightly getting lighter and lighter as you go toward the other side. And this can be a tricky process, and if you've never done this sort of thing before, it's harder. And then what you're going to do is on the other side is where the shadow of the actual droplet's going to be. So again, you're going to have a little shadow on the outside of the circle. And then I kind of use a little earbud, and I kind of really carefully smooth them out so it kind of, the gradient is a little bit better and more gentle, and just shade it all together so it gradually fades. And I think that looks a lot neater. And then again, you can use eraser. I'm using a kneaded eraser. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull out those little bits of light where it's shining, where the light source is in the shadow. And then right in the middle, we want to really lift up some of the color there as well. And then the final thing, which is again kind of weird and counterintuitive, is you're going to have actual light in the shadow of it. So right down here, you want more light in the shadowy bit. So again, you can map that out beforehand and leave a little bit, or just pull it up at the end. So this is easier to see when you're using color as well, because you can fade it a little more gently. And you can actually use, you know, an actual white marker or a white colored pencil to really define that and add in that color. And this is where like a gel pen might come in really handy, or some white ink to really make it work. So that's the basic premise of this as far as water droplets. So it doesn't look like much now, but if you use it, again, we're going to do it this way. Let's start with this. I just done a little blue wash right here so we can show you on here how to do it. So again, let's make a little shape, maybe another one to go with it. Okay, and we got to decide where the light source is coming from. Let's have the light source come from up here. Again, you're going to be shining light down here. So once again, we do just some shadow, getting more and more light as it comes down. And I'm using Prismacolor colored pencils, which are really blendable and really nice to blend. I really enjoy using these for this. And you want, around the edges, you want just a really thin but crisp line of the color that you're using. And then underneath, again, you have your shadow, which will be the same color as up top. And really, really fade this out. I'm going to do the same over here. Oh, my son is here. Yes, darling? It's alright, we'll fix it in a little while. You go play, okay? I love you. We'll go outside then. Sorry about that. So again, you're just going to have that gradient, and then reading into the darker up top, and then the shadow underneath. And then I'll show you. The great thing about using colored pencils, especially these ones, like I said, they're so blendable. So I then take the white, and starting from the bottom, I go right up into the blue, and you can see it kind of blends that light into dark while still giving me that pristine bit on the bottom here. to really give that water effect. We'll do it on this side as well. And it's starting to look more like water, but you really still need those extra highlights, which I will show you. So again, you could use your colored pencil if it works, but I do find that sometimes with the darker colors you can't get that highlight you want. So I'll add it in with that, but then I will take a gel pen, and this is a Ranger white opaque pen, and hopefully it will work. Sometimes it gets a bit gummed up, but we're just going to add some highlights right in that top bit, and then right in the bottom there too. So again, highlights where the light is shining into the water, and it's starting to have issues because it's getting gunked up with the colored pencil, and then right in the shadow as well. And you can kind of see that these are rather big, so the bigger they are, the less they look amazing. But when you use a really small one, so let's do a really small, like a much smaller one, like that, and underneath, like that. This. And then take our gel here, like that. That's much better. It looks much more like a realistic water droplet on there, and it's maybe harder to see. So the smaller they are, the more they look, you know, good. And so I've done a few on this side, so you can see they can kind of, it's the same process. Again, I did just a wash of color, and then I used actual watercolors to do the droplets, and then just highlighted it with a few Prismacolors. And on these ones, I didn't use a gel pen, but if you add that really stark white highlight from the gel, it looks even better, I think. So that's basically it as far as doing these. And again, you can see the bigger ones look less gray and the smaller ones look better. And you really can refine them just by spending some more time on them. These were all done in just a few minutes, just for the sake of this video. If you're working on an actual painting, then obviously you're going to want to take your time and really do it. But you can kind of see where I'm going from that. Okay, so once again, here's the kind of finished on that side. You can see what they look like, and here's this one again. You can kind of see it. And again, the smaller one obviously looks a little better than the bigger ones. But especially if it's part of a larger painting, you're going to find that it looks really good once it's all done. And the technique, like I said, is so easy. It's a circle, shade the circle so you can see that it's a sphere, pick up the colors from around it, and then use highlights in the shadowy parts, because those are where you would not expect them to be. And I really think that once you get the technique down, you can do these really easily, and they really add to your painting, and they're really visually interesting and really not hard at all. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and then feel free to follow me across social media. I'm Hey Katie Blog everywhere. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 5. Bye.